Ruth Fugee's Hero's Journey. In 1998, I was working for hourly wage as an office manager and veterinary technician. I was raising two daughters, trying to survive huge changes in our society, and caring for my mother with Alzheimer's who lived with us. All of the techs at the clinic were dissatisfied. We complained. We gossiped. I gave up gossiping for Lent one year and had nothing to say. I was a frustrated smart aleck. I ran across a snippet of truth. Become the person you want your children to grow up to be. I hung my snippet on my refrigerator. It was like a screw had fallen into the gears of my clockworks. My stress-filled engine chugged down the track and kept derailing every time I opened the fridge. My first step was to figure out who I was, and I spent a year in this place. I surveyed myself for my gifts and talents, since I couldn't see them, and read self-help books. I realized my purpose in life was in layers like a rose, and I made a work of art out of it. Then I chose to add an associate's degree in nursing to my bachelor's degree in sociology, convincing my husband that quitting my job and going back to college as my children were going to college was a tough sell. Nursing school at the associate's level, the hardest of all of the allied health programs. My daughters and I would study together for a while, and they would come back later and say, "You're still studying?" I was the oldest person in my class. We had 50% attrition that year. I got to go to my hometown hospital on a clinical rotation where I was born. We wore yellow pinafores over white dresses. There was no mistaking us for real nurses. We had just learned how to read those squiggles on the ECG monitor, and we were sure that everyone was going to squiggle all over the place, or not at all. The charge nurse looked up at our wide eyes and said, "Yay, the students are here. We love students." At that moment, I learned the difference between working hard and being hard. And 6 months later, I hired on to that unit and convinced my husband to take me home. I was proud of saying I'm a cardiac nurse in a community hospital, and my husband was happy that I made more money in a year than my previous doctor and owner of the clinic made. Still, something itched. Was I finished becoming the person I wanted my children to be? I was ready for more adventures.